It's June, the cinemas are finally back and we can finally sit in a dark room again, and I've just been to the premiere of Another Round. Another Round won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film this year. Normally when I hear a film has won an Oscar, it doesn't inspire confidence in me. The way the Oscars have gone these days, I think it means precious little, but in this case, this film has been fantastic. I think the Oscars got it right for once. In today's ultra-sanitized, politically correct world, it's somewhat refreshing that a film with a rebellious theme like this tacitly implies that drinking alcohol all day long might actually improve your life. It's somewhat refreshing that a film like that can win an Oscar. It also has zero woke credentials, which normally is the ticking box for an Oscar these days, and it seems to be the sole criteria for getting listed on Netflix. The Irish premiere of Another Round in the iSense Theatre in the Odeon Cinema in the Point. Okay, Claire, what do you think?
So what, this film won an Oscar, and sometimes films that win Oscars, they're not as good as the hype.
When I heard it won an Oscar, I was worried, because normally it's a bad thing. It scares me off films, but not this one.
But this film is extremely unique. I've never seen a story like this. It's about, I'm really bad at writing films.
Well, this one, I mean,
about alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's these childhood friends as adults, and they're teachers, and they think if they're kind of, well, one of them, Mads, I can't pronounce his name, Mads Mikkel.
Oh, yeah, the main.
Mads Mikkelsen, the guy in the
Carlsberg
ads.
guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So he's a history teacher, and students are complaining, and he's kind of leading a boring, regular life. So he goes to a party with his friends, a birthday party, and one of his friends suggests that if they drink a little bit of alcohol every day, maybe it will loosen them up, improve their lives.
Yeah, fascinating concept that this Swedish philosopher or something postulates that the blood alcohol level of normal humans is below the optimum level. And the idea that if you took a little bit of alcohol constantly throughout your day, would that improve your efficiency, your social life, everything else?
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea.
It's a fascinating idea, and so they test this theory out, him and his friends, and they start off with a certain level blood of alcohol, and all of a sudden Mads Mikkelsen's character, he has more confidence with his students.
It certainly
students
works.
are loving him. It works.
Fornuftigt. Men spørgsmålet er, hvad der i virkeligheden er fornuft. Der findes en norsk filosof. Han mener, at mennesket er født med en halv promille for lidt.
Altså, jeg må sige, jeg kunne da godt sådan bruge en halv promille sådan på daglig basis for at få lidt mere selvtillid.
Det har vi da alle sammen brug for. Det har du da også brug for. Jeg synes, det er spændende.
Det gør jeg også.
What I love about it is that it's kind of politically incorrect for a change.
Yes,
the idea that a film could be actually attempting to say that maybe drinking alcohol is good for you. You know? It's a bit like saying smoking is good for you. You know, it's almost as politically incorrect as that. So that was the refreshing part of it. And one thing I was worried about was that there would be a bit of a moralistic kind of ending.
Yes.
And I'll leave that up to you to determine whether you think there was, but. You know, and I think certainly at the start there isn't that moral condemnation. It's like a serious and almost possible, plausible approach that they could drink to improve their social life.
And even their family life is improving. Like Mads Mikkelsen's character, his relationship with his wife and children seems to be improving from drinking alcohol. And it's a fascinating concept. I've never seen this on film, this actual type of story.
Afhandling. Daglig indtagelse af alkohol. Ja. Tilstræbt til konstant niveau på en halv promille. Med henblik på indsamling af evidens, psykologiske og psykoretoriske følgevirkninger samt undersøgelse af forøget social og faglig ydeevne.
Så det er kun i arbejdstiden, vi drikker, ikke?
Men det er jo ligesom Hemingway. Vi drikker ikke efter 8 og ikke i weekenden.
And there was a lovely sense of kind of regret within the friends. You know, there's like their life has become so mundane and boring.
It's classic midlife crisis stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's interesting that they would come across this solution, you know.
Definitely.
And they're dicing with death and dicing with danger all the way through it, but you're kind of rooting for them in a weird way in that. But I certainly love the start where and it's almost plausible. You can almost kind of imagine that it could be true. That maybe a small blood alcohol level, increase in blood alcohol level, could improve things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I found a little bit where the incredulity kind of came in is where they decide to max it out and they lose all control over the limits.
Hey, klar! Rejse!
I just love the fact it's not an American film. There's something about Scandinavian films, and even French films have it as well. Just foreign films, not in English, they just capture something. They're not afraid. Like, I find a lot of American films become very moralistic, and you kind of get a bit sick of them. They're really formulaic, but this
is quite rebellious in terms of the whole tone of it. And I mean, the fact that it's in Denmark, it is very refreshing. Everybody's very beautiful looking. They're all married to these 6-foot blonde wives and all this kind of stuff. And the men aren't bad looking either, I presume. But I mean, it's very refreshing, the whole thing.
And it's weird because the wife speaks Swedish, and if anyone's seen this fabulous film called Force Majeure, it's the same actress in it that's in this as well. And it's interesting that sometimes she speaks in Swedish, but everyone speaks in Danish. I think they're very different languages.
Yes.
But no, it's half a Swedish production and Danish. I think it's none of it's in the credits. But Mads Mikkelsen, I love his acting as well. He's so subtle.
In fact, that's one thing I noticed. All the actors are superb. Like his wife, Annika, was superb.
She's just, and it's just the subtleties. It's a lesson in amazing subtle acting, but really powerful. Like,
yes, there's a lot of subtlety there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know. I mean, the fact that it won an Oscar is amazing, really. Yeah. Because it breaks all the rules of classic Oscar bait. There's no Oscar bait in it. They're not playing towards the tick box that normally Oscar films get,
And it's funny, I know Nomadland won the Oscar. Did you see Nomadland yet? I know it won the Oscar. It's a really boring film. And I fell asleep in the middle of it.
Is it as boring as Supernova?
Yes, it's actually
That was our last review.
Yeah. It's funny because my friend watched Nomadland.
Jeg tror bare, der er mere at hente der, og måske endda lidt højere.
Så vi skifter gear.
Er I fuld?
Nej, det er vi ikke.
Casting, I think, was miraculous in it. I think everybody was really well. Like the four lads, just four drunken guys playing soccer together. There was something very refreshing about that.
There really was, and there was the friend with the young kids and the wife. She's like 3 kids running off her, and one of the kids keeps going wetting himself, which is his. And then one of the other friends, he'd no kids and he wanted kids.
Yes.
Do you know? And
the other guy didn't want his own kids. Yes.
Forklar det for børnene, hvad som er hent.
Jeg bliver lidt fuld i morgen.
Jeg hele tiden synes, det var fint, at I eksperimenterede alt muligt, men det her, det er
Jeg går ikke ud fra, at der er nogen her, der har et problem, jeg skal vide noget om.
It's a really good, very funny moment when they maxed it out, and the wife of one of the characters, she wants them to get fresh cod, and they're absolutely like obliterated drunk, and they're in the supermarket falling over, and that added a really lovely comedic element to it because it wasn't heavy then. You know, cause this type of film could have gone really heavy, and there are some really heavy parts in it, but just that added a bit of humour, and I think it needed to go there in order for the film to work, in my opinion. But it's so lovely, and it's great. Mads Mikkelsen, there's one moment where he's the face of Carlsberg. And there's one moment in it where they're drinking Carlsberg except him. It would have been weird.
They obviously couldn't have the product placement for it.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. It's kind of breaking all the rules.
Yes.
Like it's 4 grown men, grappling with midlife crisis and how they'd get around it. And so much the way film has gone is so politically correct these days that it would be, taking up sort of fitness or something like that. But the idea that they would take up drinking more alcohol as a solution is kind of crazy, a bit rebellious.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I just thought
absolutely loved it as
there's
well.
a suspension of that moral sort of condemnation.
And do you know what I love? I just love it not being an American film.
Yeah,
I love
it's true.
Scandinavian films.
What a night, what a beautiful, beautiful ride. Don't know where I'm at, but I'm young and alive. What was there you're saying all alive?
As well, the four characters was brilliant because each of them had something the other one didn't and wanted. And they thought,
True.
oh, if they had kids, their life would be perfect. You know, it wouldn't be.
And the other
Do you know,
aspect was
yeah.
the children in the school and how they interacted with them. And
Yeah.
you know, initially they're basically demoralising
Yeah.
them, and the classic teachers just beating down the children,
Yeah.
suppressing them. You know, they're burned out rubbish teachers
Yeah.
basically. But then alcohol frees them from their inhibitions,
Yeah.
and they. And there's a bit later, which I won't give away, where they really cross a line in that regard. But
They do,
that
and
is,
if it was an American
you know,
film,
you're taking sharp into
oh, you are, you really are. And if it was an American film, they would go the moral route with that, with the student. There's something happens there. Wind is very bad here. But if there's a beautiful moment with the teacher and student, and they won't say what happens. But if it was an American film, they would. Do you know what I mean? But this was just. I do know there's beautiful singing in it as well. Singing in it was actually really lovely. It just works. It's so refreshing. The acting, the story is unique.
The singing, actually, that moment
It's
where
beautiful.
normally they're doing choir practice or whatever it is, they're
Yeah.
teaching them singing, and normally they're just slouching around.
Yeah.
And because he's got alcohol in his bloodstream, he is
He's
inspired
free.
to do it properly, which is
Yeah.
an interesting public service message to give to the viewers. But
Yeah.
he gets them around in the circle, standing up, and they're holding hands.
It's just
and the
beautiful.
music that comes out of them is something incredible.
Yeah, and I just loved it. Personally, I loved it. I think it's coming out in early July, 1st, 2nd
think so,
July in
yeah.
cinemas.
Yeah.
But definitely go to see it. It's refreshing. It's a different story. Great acting from everyone.
I loved
Great
it.
actors.
Would everybody like it, I wonder?
No.
I was wondering that, yeah. Some people may not like it, I think.
Yeah, I think because some people might find it slow, but it had to be like that pacing for it to work. I think it had to be that type of film it needed to be. You know, it needed. But yeah,
I
don't
loved it. I
think-
certainly
yeah,
enjoyed it. I
terrific.
certainly at the start, I thought, just the premise where they're dealing with something that was slightly credible, where you know, a small bit of blood, and it's very punctuated. Like the scenes are punctuated with their blood alcohol.
Yes,
so it goes
I
from
loved it.
0.01, you know, and you see them acting a certain scene, and then it's 1.2, and you see them acting another scene.
It's so
the whole
good.
thing is defined by their blood
Yeah.
alcohol level. I think in the earlier scenes where they're dicing with small amounts is credible, and you kind of think, could this be possible? And you know it isn't really, but you know, you just wonder. But
Even that choice to make it put on screen what their alcohol level was, as the viewer, it kind of defined it. And you think, oh, this is where they're at that level. That's where they're
It's
at
an
that level.
interesting device.
It works so well. So without that device, you'd be kind of a little bit confused, you know, a little bit. But they knew they had to put it on screen for us to kind of punctuate where they're at and see the effects. But they played being drunk so well.
yeah, because actually it's one of the things that annoys me, because I think it's the one thing actors do terribly in films is acting drunk. And drunk acting, you look at it on screen, and anybody who's been drunk kind of doesn't recognise it. It's bullshit. It's cartoonish a lot of the time. Whereas I think they do it.
They
well,
really did.
certainly.
And when they're obliterated, I actually felt hungover. Due to dehydration. I actually felt, when one of them was crawling up the stairs, I could feel his pain.
Oh yeah, the guy's
Do you know what I mean?
upstairs,
And I was like, oh God, you know. But yeah, I highly, highly recommend it. Refreshing, brilliant acting. Go to see it. It's at the 1st or 2nd of July nationwide in Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, cinemas are reopened again.
Yay.
We went into a cinema, we're not dead as a result.
Yeah.
And
Not yet,
I think
anyway.
if people aren't too hysterical to go back into a cinema, I think it's something that you could actually enjoy, and it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Something different, because it's not moralistic and politically correct. It's actually something different, and is deservedly a winner, I think.
Absolutely, it deserves.
Did really well at Cannes.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? And it deserves the Oscar. From what we saw today, and you'll really enjoy it. I'd give it. How many stars would you give it?
I suppose I'd give it 5 stars.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah,
Because I'm always reluctant to give it the 5 stars, because I think, there must be something better. But we've seen enough crap.
Yes.
I think that this one is refreshingly
Yeah,
good.
like I can't really fault it. The pacing, the acting, the writing. It's
Yeah.
a 5-star film. Now, it won't be for everyone, but
That's
it is
the
a
only thing
5-star
I've been
film.
thinking about.
Yeah.
Would everybody enjoy it? Possibly
Yeah.
not, but
Yeah.
I think it's certainly recommended. Yeah. Okay, go see it.
So it was an interesting film.
Wonderful. Wonderful.